It is a beautiful morning.
It is a gorgeous day.
Yeah, just absolutely beautiful today down here in on the Arkansas River.
Yeah.
To the task at hand, the actual subject that we wanted to discuss is where we now have all three batteries hooked up in our solar generator that we're building for the van, our 3,000 watt solar generator. So we're going to show you what we got going right now. Okay, I'm going to walk over here, and remember, don't be,
Yeah, I know I've got a live
because
mic.
you have a live mic on, so don't be saying things that you shouldn't. Anyway, I'm going over here. Yeah. All right. I'll give you a shot of our view right here, which it's just absolutely beautiful right now. The Arkansas River, Steve, is very beautiful right now. Anyway, this is the system now, and this is our three batteries that we have all hooked up in parallel. Let me extend this camera on out further so you can get a better idea. I hope you can see how we wired those all in parallel right there. And I just did a check on all the batteries just a little bit ago, and all of them are showing 100% charge at 14.2 volts each. We have the threshold set at 14.4, so as not to ever, accidentally overcharge them. So, and we have the one MPPT charge controller right now that we're using, because we currently have two 200 watt panels on top of the van here, and I know they're probably filthy and nasty right now. I need to wash them, but anyway, that's what's going on there. And we'll talk more about this setup here. This is a 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter right here. We have the same model in the trailer as well. Now the one in the trailer though is a 24 volt inverter, for a 24 volt system. This one here, of course, is a 12 volt system. One thing that I do want to mention about this inverter, I read some reviews, and I very seldom read reviews. And whenever I read a bad review on something, I usually take it with a grain of salt. But there were a few in there that said, well, they don't think it puts out 3,000 watts, and it wouldn't do what they wanted it to do, and blah, 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 blah. Well, the one we have in the trailer, we have been using for quite some time, off and on, and it has always worked flawlessly. But some of these guys that did these reviews, these negative reviews, they also posted some photos. And here, I've got a wire laying over here. Let me get this wire. I want to show you something. And how this ended up not getting put away, I do not know. But anyway, this is one of the cables that comes with these inverters. Now, usually they give you two sets of each, so you would double up on the cables. Well, when I saw the photos that they had posted, complaining about how they wouldn't do what they thought they should be doing, they only had the inverter hooked up to one set of these cables. Folks, that ain't enough to do anything. And to be honest with you, I don't even know why they send these cables with the inverters. They shouldn't even do it. This is 2-aught cable right here. 2-aught cable. And the reason why I went with 2-aught cable is because at maximum pull, when we're powering the trailer, we could be pulling somewhere in the 120 amp range off of the battery bank. So we wanted to make sure that the cable was large enough to handle everything. Now, one other thing I do need to point out is these batteries being wired in parallel the way they are. And then of course we're coming off of, for the negative terminal, if you see right over there, we're coming off of there, and that one cable goes in behind the board, comes out right here, and goes into what I'm calling the primary bus bars, onto the negative side of the primary bus bars. This cable that you see right here, that is going to the positive bus bar, the primary bus bar, comes off of the end of this terminal, and I've got it circling around back here and coming through the hole that I drilled there and got it coming right there. So basically the way this is wired up, it's kind of wired up where it's making this like, you know, one battery. Now, these first two bus bars here, which I'm referring to as the primary bus bars, this is of course where I you know, feed the batteries into the primary bus bars. It's also where I brought in the charge controller. The positive side of the charge controller went over here. Now the negative side goes in over here, and there's a reason for that, because that works in conjunction with the shunt right here, the smart shunt, the Victron smart shunt right here. So what I'm alluding to here is this is a 250 amp breaker right here. This is a 250 amp breaker, and I can isolate all these batteries at once by just simply tripping that 250 amp breaker right there. So there is a way to isolate. In fact, the breaker is off right now, so there's nothing coming in over here to the secondary bus bars at all. So when I'm ready to fire up the system, you know, I just reach in there and switch on that breaker, and here we go. Now what we have also got going on here, we've got this cable coming off here. I still have more to do right here. I want to be able to pull this console out when I need to service it, and right now one of the things that really ties everything in where it makes it more difficult is this going here over into the let me get that over here, into the small panel that I mounted right here. And of course this is my 30 amp outlet, and we'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. What I intend to do is to mount a 30 amp twist lock receptacle right in this ballpark right here, and then of course put a 30 amp twist lock plug on that, and so I can, you know, disconnect it right there when I need to pull it out. As far as the battery bank goes, which I've already done that a couple of times, all I got to do is disconnect the positive and negative cables there. I can slide them back, and they can rest just at the opening of those holes right there. They don't get anywhere near the other terminals, and if I need to, I can tape them up or zip tie them there just in case. And then this allows me to you know, unscrew it here and down over here, which I'm going to go with some better mounts here eventually, and then I can slide this out. So it's really not that difficult. I do intend to probably use an SAE type connector on number 10 cable, so I can disconnect the MPPT controller, and eventually there'll be another one right here when I add two more sets of panels on top. So I will have quick disconnects there. Now let's go on over to the AC side. This is marine wire number 10 10-3 AWG marine cable right here, and of course it's going in to my little breaker panel here. Now these little breaker panels, they don't come with a ground bar, so I had to add a ground bar to this on the inside, and I wish I would have snapped a photo of that so I could show you how I did that. But it's really pretty simple and straightforward. It's not complicated at all. And when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pick up these panels like this, and if they don't have a ground bar, they have ground bar kits, you know, hanging on the wall right next to where they have all the different panels. So it's real easy to add one. Now what I've done with the ground, I've come off of it, and I do need to put a connector on that. I ran out of connectors. I may put a grommet on that instead, but this is number 10 AWG coming up and over, and I've got it grounded to the chassis right here. In addition to that, on this inverter itself, which is something that a lot of guys miss, there's also a ground stud on the bottom, on the underside of this inverter, and I've got a number 10 gauge AWG cable coming off of it, and grounded to the chassis over here. So it's got a good ground. You know, it's grounded in 2 different spots on the AC side. I have yet to add, which I intend to do, and I've got some parts coming for that, but I am going to also ground the negative bus to the chassis of the van as well. And this is for like when if I want to run some 12 volt items off of it, and that way I only have to run a positive wire to whatever 12 volt appliance I'm wanting to run. One of them will be let me see if you can see that up there, this pump right there. This is my transfer pump that we use to transfer fresh water from our auxiliary freshwater tank that is up on the other side of that wall back there. That's what we use to transfer fresh water from the van to the trailer. All we got to do is go find water somewhere, fill up the tank in the van, back up to the van. I've got a hose. I know I'm going into more stuff here, but I've got a hose bib right there, and I simply connect a hose to that and run it over to the trailer, open up the valve there and throw a switch, and we've got water being transferred into the trailer. As it is right now, that pump runs off of the van battery up front, but eventually I will be tying that pump into this system, of course. You know, why not? Now there is a board, a platform that slides in here on top, because I use this area above it for storage. That is the board right there. And when I get everything all done and completed and feel like I'm completely, totally done with this system, then I will be cutting that board in half and hinging it, so it'll be a whole lot easier just to lift it up and you know, hang the board from right here, so I can easily reach in there and service something if I need to service something. The one set of panels that I have on top right now, I have an inline fuse right here. There's the fuse right there, that inline fuse. Hopefully you can see it there. But I do have some breakers. When I get the other set of panels installed on top and end up with a total of 800 watts of solar on top, then I will be installing the 2 separate breakers, so I can kill them, you know, easily that way. But right now I just simply need to reach up there and pull the fuse out, which I've done, you know, 2 or 3 times. Anyway, the system works fantastic. I just a little bit ago I went ahead and checked everything. The shunt shows us to be at 14.16 volts total. The apps on each of the batteries, they each have their own app with them, their own internal BMS, all that stuff, but they showed them at 14.2 volts each. They're never going to coincide, you know, completely, but it's mainly for a reference. But every one of them are balanced the same and everything. These batteries, let me mention this one more time, and I've mentioned it in every single video, but these batteries have their own built-in self-heating feature. So that's a plus, you know, if we ever end up in colder temperatures. Of course, it's our plan, you know, to always stay in, you know, travel to warmer temperatures if possible. We're still planning on going to Florida. We all of those folks that are in the path of the hurricane headed that way, they're all in our thoughts and prayers. And we're you know, we've got a lot of friends down there that we are staying in communication with, so we hope that everybody gets through this and everything will be fine. But anyway, they do have a self-heating feature built into them, and I'm sure you're looking at some pictures of how the app looks when you pull it up. But you can look on that app when you pull up each individual battery, and it will show you the temperature of each individual cell. There's 4 cells per battery here, and it shows you the temperature of each one of those cells. And if I remember correctly, and this was roughly about 45 minutes ago when I checked, the temperature of those cells was in the mid 60 degree range is where they were. So, so far, you know, everything's fine. Everything is working fine. It's working exactly the way we wanted it to. Now what we're going to do is we've got our 30 amp cable stretched out here, all ready to plug into the trailer. What we're going to do is go ahead and plug the system into the trailer. Aren't we, dear?
We're going to, yes,
You think it'll work?
yes. I know who did it.
Oh, well,
Not worried.
see, we tested it the other day, so it worked the other day, so there's no reason why it won't work today. Let me point that way. I don't know how close it's being right, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to throw the breaker over here.
Okay. I'm going to turn on the system here by closing this breaker. Then I'm going to turn on the inverter. And by the way, this inverter comes with a remote. Yeah, comes with a remote. I haven't used it yet. It does take a special size battery, so got to get that battery. And go ahead and plug this in right there. So that's plugged in. Hang on, I'll be right back.
I cannot get that separated. Sorry.
You are weak.
I know.
See, you still need
Well,
me.
I would remove it from the trailer and put it on the ground and use my foot, but
Okay.
I get her done.
Okay. We've now plugged it in. And one thing I did not do, I did not throw the 30 amp breaker. So the 30 amp breaker is on, and we should hear the automatic transfer switch.
It made its noise.
Oh, you heard it bang?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And we'll pull up the smart shunt here. And I don't have my glasses on. Right now, it shows that off of the battery bank, now keep in mind, this is pulling off of the battery bank itself. We're pulling 4.85 amps off of the battery bank. The only thing running as far as I can figure would be our home internet
The home internet and the refrigerator.
and the refrigerator. Yeah, say that again.
The home internet and the refrigerator is
Right.
all that's on in there at this point.
Right. So I know, and show, of course, it's showing 100%. I know what everybody's wondering, and we see this question all the time. Can we run the air conditioner?
Well, that's important.
Can we run the mini split? Dear, you want to go in and flip it
Okay.
on? It's a cool morning this morning. She's going to go ahead and bring the thermostat on down so we can get it to kick on. Here it goes. All right, now it's finally coming on. We'll find out what she had to do to get it to kick on, because it's a fairly cool morning this morning. Yeah. Why'd you end up having to put the thermostat on?
62.
62 degrees to get it to kick on. Well, right now, with the mini split running and the refrigerator and the home internet, we're pulling, right now we're settling in at around 67 amps that we're pulling. I might mention also that just to run the inverter itself, which you might hear the fan kick on a little bit on the inverter, but the inverter, we noticed, pulls 0.67 amps just to run the inverter when nothing else is running, because I did check that the other day. So anyway, right now we're pulling about 68 amps total with everything. And I don't think the compressor though, because I've seen it pull, now it's climbing a little bit
Yeah,
more.
the compressor just kicked on.
Yeah,
Good.
we heard the compressor kick on. So it's up around 72 amps. I saw it climb up into the 80s the other day, into the 80 amp range. But keep in mind, I know you're looking at the time remaining down there on the bottom. It says right now, it says 7 hours. I saw it go all the way down to around 5. But that is only when the compressor is running. And once the air conditioner brought it up to operating temperature, of course, the compressor would kick off. And all those numbers would change quickly.
Yes.
You know, when we first got the system all set up in the trailer itself, the one in the trailer, I'd go nuts, you know, watching all that stuff. And then, you know,
then it settles down.
Marvin kept telling me, don't worry about it, everything's going to be fine, just give it a little time. But anyway, but it's settling in right now at about 75 amps is what we're drawing. But eventually when the compressor would go to kick off, you'll see that time remaining start to climb again. Now, can we run it indefinitely with this? No, can't run it indefinitely.
Well, it depends upon how much solar you're
Right,
getting.
and
Because
right-
right now we're getting zilch.
That's right.
Well, maybe a couple of
Well,
amps.
yeah. Well, here, what we can do, let's do this. Let's go in and let me pull up the charge controller and let's see what it's bringing. See, we're only bringing in 1.2 amps into the system right now.
It's because we're in the shade.
Yeah, because, yeah, we're not getting
Totally,
hardly any
almost
sun at all.
totally in the shade.
We have seen it make as much as 27 to 28 amps into the system before when we were in, you know, at a really, really good angle to the sun. So, and these panels are very, very efficient. I can only imagine how much better it's going to be when we finally get the other set of panels
What
up.
we're hoping with this is that we can survive between the van battery bank and
Yeah.
the trailer battery bank. We could survive quite a while if for some reason electricity was down.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, my goal is that I don't have to carry around a gas-powered generator because I've got to go find gas.
I still say that we're probably going to need one for backup.
So that's an argument we're having.
Yeah, we're having a discussion about that. But I truly, truly believe, you know, avoid using it as much as possible, of course.
Well,
But still, there's a time when you might need a backup system. If nothing else, just the way we've got it set up, we can also run our chargers independently of everything else with a generator.
well, I know all
And
that,
we can
but
bring the system back up a whole lot faster.
I just don't want to pack around a generator.
Well,
And that's me. But
of course, she
we-
doesn't have to pack it around. I'm the one that packs it around.
no, time will tell. I didn't say me physically packing it. I have to find a spot for it.
Well,
And Bill's not willing to give up anything in
that's
this
not
van.
true. I'm leaving my table saw here. I'm giving up my table saw.
Yeah,
and
but my fire pit goes where the table saw is.
we're not going to have this discussion in front of our viewers right now, okay?
Oh, okay, fine.
Anyway, the air conditioner, you can see it's running just fine. These mini splits, they have their own soft start system built into them, which is cool about them. We love our mini split. It has served us pretty much flawlessly ever since we got it, except for that lightning strike we
Just
had one time.
One time
You know,
that we had issues.
and but Senville took care of us, sent us the parts we needed, and we replaced them ourselves.
Yeah.
It was no big deal.
no.
But anyway, and the thing about it is, we paid less than $800 for this, you know.
Right.
And
we went with the 12,000.
yeah, this is a 12,000 BTU. Now I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, one other thing. There you go. There's the fan. We do have a pass-through coming where we'll be able to run this cable through a pass-through that will go, you know, right down through there and come out, you know, right over here. I'll probably mount it where it comes out right in here or someplace like that. So that will eliminate the need to always have the doors open, especially in inclement weather. But our plan also is to utilize the system in the trailer overnight, because I can monitor that,
Right.
and then utilize this system during the day.
And hopefully the trailer is recharging while this is being used.
Right.
That's the goal.
Right. So that's the goal. Now, another thing about this, when we have long enough cable, which we do, we can pull the van on out, depending on where we are, we can pull the van on out where it's, has better exposure to the sun over here. And then the panels can be making more power going into the system, which will help it when we're trying to run the trailer with it.
Right.
So there you go. Still got a little bit more to go on the setup in the van, and we will keep you posted on that. Plus, in the very next video, we've had people ask about the cost, and we will go into that on the next video, which should pretty much wrap up the system.
Okay.
But we'll go. Is that a
I
problem?
don't know that I've been keeping track of
I have it.
individual.
I have it all in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know I was supposed to.
I will say right now, these batteries, these particular batteries, and these come from a company called Power R Us. Power R Us. Right now, the ones with the self-heating feature built into them is $575 on Amazon right now. And they have one without the self-heating feature that's a little bit less.
Right.
Okay? All right. Anyway, this is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. You know exactly what we're going to say. We're not camping.
We are living.
Y'all get out there, do some living, and we'll see you again on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Right? Bye-bye now.